Alrighty then. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for joining us for what is episode 8 of Coffee Corner. Sitting here sipping on a nice Colombian blend. It's always good to have some listeners now or later, or anyone listening to us on YouTube. We appreciate you as well. Today, we're going to go ahead and skip over the news and what have you. I think everyone's probably pretty up to date with lung reaching parity, a couple other stuff going on, but today we're here to talk with Natty and what she's working on with LungSphere and just exactly the vision she has for that and where she's taking that. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Natty, that'd be great. She is not a speaker yet. Invite to speak. I went ahead and invited you, Natty, if you want to go ahead and accept that.
I just would like to apologize in advance. I might be a little quiet because I have my toddlers here with me.
She might be having some technical difficulties. Oh, there she is. What's up, Natty? You're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go. There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. So, thank you for inviting me to speak about LungSphere. So, my name is Nathalie Nazipaat. I am somebody that bought a Luna at 30 euros all the way down, and it gripped me, and I wanted to be part of making something right, which went terribly wrong. So, yeah, I've been a part of volunteer teams. I was leading a marketing team, and we did several things, like Lung Worldwide. We did the first content, for Luna Classic, like the 2-minute video at the time with Sarah Rebels, and, when staking got re-enabled. And at some point, I felt I wanted to be independent and serve the community as a whole because I was a part of Vegas volunteers. And then, the idea of a platform came up. People like my NFTs or like my art. They weren't NFTs at the time. And they said, you should really sell them as NFTs. And then I thought, what type of utility could I link to them? And I've had this idea of a platform, like all news and events at one click, being able to meet people within your area, crypto marketplace. And I thought, okay, that's good. I'm going to link the NFTs to that. And that will be the key. So that's a little bit how it came about.
Yeah, so like Natty just said, for anyone who's not aware, she definitely has been an active member of the community since Lunk's inception. She's taken active roles in multiple different activities, either on Telegram, different marketing activities, definitely getting out there and putting forth the effort, especially in the early days and even continuing on to today, to help Lunk in some form or fashion, either through marketing and education, or now as she's been progressing along her own crypto path, creating a few different NFT lines, which are currently available on Miata. If you guys are interested in that or NFTs, I think they're definitely some of the nicer, higher quality ones. Not an.
I have a couple. I like them.
Yeah. So definitely cool to see that from her. And now we're seeing the next progression in her crypto path as she works on LungSphere, which, as she just said, she would like to see be a well-rounded kind of town center for the community where they don't have to scroll endless Twitter threads, go through endless different Discord servers to come up with the latest news or project developments, not just her own project, but other projects, where, like she said, there's going to be some sort of social media application on there so we can better connect to each other as a community, not only online, but apparently also in person. So do you just want to give us a little bit further of a rundown with what exactly it is you're working on, where you're at with the project,
Yeah.
and next steps?
Yeah, of course. So, I've got a team of devs and I've got a really good designer as well. I think you were able to see, the link I sent you regarding, the design and stuff like that. So, the first phase, which will actually be ready at the end of this month, is a directory, in which all devs, NFT projects, long influencers, exchanges, basically all contributors will be offered a free profile there, and they have their own little calendar in which they can put their events, and they've got a news feed in which they can insert their news, and then the long community, they get a merged version of that. So, there's an events page and they can click, what is happening today, within.
Looks like we might have lost Natty.
Yeah, looks like we might have lost Natty. I'm not sure if you're still there or not, Natty, but your microphone definitely did just die. But to touch on what you were just talking about, I think that's actually a really great idea, considering one of the many things that Lunk definitely comes to grips with and battles against is the proper dispersal of information or projects being seen, as there is not that more, and not to use this term in a bad way, but that more centralized location where people can go for not only L1 developments, but also a way for people to check out what projects are building on chain. I don't know if any of our listeners are aware of the different applications that interact with other blockchains. Like there's a few for Ethereum and BSC, and they support most of the other Ethereum clone uh, chains, and they have rather well developed websites that you can go and look at all the different projects building on chain that have earned their listing on their application. Um, One of them is DApp Radar. There's a few other one. There's one called Crypto Gaming and a P2E Gaming or something or another, and that one's strictly for P2E games. And they definitely have a great list. It's definitely how I've discovered a lot of the projects that I've chosen to interact with during my own crypto journey. Just scrolling those pages and finding what's out there. And we lost Natty, and she's definitely the guest, so that doesn't work well at all. Hopefully, she'll rejoin us here in a moment, and we can continue our conversation with her. But just going back into what I was saying, like having that place that people can go and find the different applications building out the layer one, and also find, the current developmental news, I think would be of great benefit to the ecosystem we're all trying to help prosper. Um, with the constant changing of where to go for information, like who to follow on Twitter and everything, it can definitely easily become disconnected for not only the people that have been active in this space, but people looking to get active in this space. That's another thing, is that plays into that. Is like we don't have that main Twitter account like every other blockchain almost has. That you you can't just go follow Luna Classic and get all the relevant information from there, And I would say it's closely related to what, and this isn't a shill, it's just a juxtaposition, but it's closely related to what Dogecoin goes through, because they suffer much of the same phenomenon where they're so. Hey, Natty, thanks again for joining us.
Glenn, just to interrupt, did you hear everything I said, or was I just like, it broke off my connection?
Yeah, you stopped at I think you were done speaking, and then I had picked up on what you were talking about the different features about news and developments, and I was going into the importance of what that is, having that location
Oh,
that people can
But
go to.
did you hear about like how I think it can also help, with collaborations, with partnerships, with businesses that want to, kind of work together with Luna Classic. Did you hear that bit or not?
No, I believe you had been cut off before that part.
Oh, can I elaborate quickly?
Oh, go for it. This is your stage. That's why we're here.
Okay. So basically, I was in a space one time and there was somebody that had a type of debit card and they wanted to include Luna Classic. But who were they gonna approach for that? They had no idea. I mean, who are you gonna approach for that? Like L1, Mr. Diamond Hands. Like it's very unclear. So I envisioned Lungsphere is also as a type of reception. Do you know what I'm saying? So for example, somebody wants to include Luna Classic or is interested in a partnership, of whatever kind. Maybe there's a law office, that wants to offer free advice, and in return get some promotion. So I feel, they have no idea where to turn to. And with Lungsphere, we would like to operate as a type of reception because if we offer a free profile to the key players and they actually use it, then, an inquiry can come in and we can allocate it or we can start, a post on the contributors forum and they can all kind of reply to that. So I think there's a lot of value.
Looks like we lost Nettie again.
Wow, I've been talking for a minute, did not realize I had been muted. So just going into what Natty was saying, uh, I completely agree with her about the idea of needing and utilizing a more organized platform where people can go to find collaborations and what have you, or just as I was saying a moment ago to myself, apparently. Uh, like say you have the idea of a project, and you have one part of the formula that would take for this project to come to fruition, to succeed, to prosper, but you're looking for other people to join your team to, apply their own skill set to the project at hand, and having a place where people know and trust, to find these types of collaborators or collaborations, could definitely help building out the L2 and the L1. I don't know if I'm repeating myself here for myself or for you guys. The L2 would be easy. The L1, I'm not quite sure how that would work. But I definitely agree with that. And I hope to utilize it myself once you get it up and going in phase one and, help,
Yeah,
help.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
I missed a bit because I don't know what's happening with my phone, but it cuts out.
So every time you've been cut out so far, I pretty quickly pick it up and just kind of expand upon what you said with
Okay,
my own
perfect.
ideas. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was muted as well there for a second, so there was a little bit of dead air. But our wonderful audio editor Hannah down in the audience will she'll clean that up for us. But yeah. So if you want to just keep going, Natty, then
Yeah.
feel free
So
to.
then you have phase two, which will be launched in quarter 3 of this year. And that's really cool. I really like that. So you've got Long Meets, and that is, you can search by lunatics within your range of where you live. So, for example, I can search for lunatics in the Netherlands, where I am from, and then I can choose, to add them as friends. I can chat with them, in DM. And I know that some people are anon, and, they don't like to, be known, but there's also a part of the community that is not, and then you can create groups there. So, for example, I don't like gaming. I'm just giving an example. I like gaming. Then I can create a group called gaming, and all the other lunatics that like it can join it. Or I can create an event saying, I would like to have a meetup in the Netherlands, and I can create a group for that, and people can join that. So I thought that would be really nice, because I have met with people, from the Lung community. For example, I've met with Lung 808. He's in Belgium, very close to me. And I like that, I like to exchange ideas and, just share passion and stuff like that. So I thought maybe there's more people like that. So that's an aspect. And obviously, I was running the volunteer team. Are you still there?
Yes, we're here.
Hello. Oh,
Yeah.
good. So I was running the volunteer team, and as a part of that, I did these recruitment ads, saying, are you a web developer? Please reach out. And then, they would come on my volunteers team and we would build out the website, or maybe it would be somebody, that was a PR. And they've got all these qualities, blockchain lawyers, whatever. And I thought, if they could offer their services on a crypto marketplace, that would be amazing. So then we created the crypto marketplace in which, the Lung community, maybe they're bloggers, writers, like I said, blockchain lawyers, video producers, they can then, if they have an NFT, offer their freelance services, or other people, they can post jobs there and say, I need an NFT collection made, for example. So that's an aspect as well. And then the platform will get a percentage of each transaction, and the money is only paid out, once the actual task is completed. But then we can also do other things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing now with the NFTs. We've got like a little budget for marketing. 60% is going to the community pool. And then we can do that as a platform. Actually pay people, because it will take, time to manage something like that. You know that, Glenn, in your previous, workings with Luna Classic, it consumes a lot of time. And I would like to be able to reward people for that. So that is the idea of the platform, but also have reserves, for marketing, that we can do things. We did like a little video to get debt over. That was funded through the Lung Samaritan NFT collection. Those type of things. I don't want to be dependent personally on the community pool. I just want something, our own initiatives to kind of bring in funding. So people who don't have the NFT will have to pay. They will have free access to the directory, news, and events. But if they want access to Lung Meets and the crypto marketplace, they will actually have to pay a monthly or yearly fee for that. So there will be an online Lung payment processor in which they can buy a subscription to the platform.
Yeah. That's a lot to unpack. All right. So you touched on the more like classified section, where you go and list the Lunk Meat section, and then, you know, uh, I guess yet again, more of a classified section, and excuse me, definitely for those people that don't wish to stay anonymous. That's really a good a good how to say this. I guess just idea. People like to connect over a shared hobby or a shared experience that we're currently experiencing as we ride the roller coaster of Luna Classic, and then expanding upon those that shared bond or interests. And being able to do that with people in your general location, if you feel secure doing that, then I think that's definitely great, because it builds on the different bonds of how the community connects and interacts with each other beyond just holding Luna Classic in bags, on an exchange or in wallets. Um, and then, touching on the more classified section where people can either look for work or offer work, or just, present themselves in a way to the community, saying that they're open to contributing in some way or form for the chain. Um, that's just great, because I see people in the Discord servers quite often. They're like, hey, I'm a Rust developer, or hey, I'm experienced in Cosmos SDK and I want to get involved. It's very easy for those shout outs to the community. I mean, it's more of a shout out to the ether because they get lost in chat so easily. And if the right person at the right time that needs that specific set of services, either a graphic designer, a video editor, or an artist, or someone more technically knowledgeable for whatever reason, either for a website or to build, a React Rust application. It's definitely good for people to have that, and the fact that you're doing this as an individual team, you know, creating a business model that is self-sustaining and scalable into the long term, is something I definitely agree with. Um, Whenever I'm talking about like Luna Classic, either how I feel its payment structure should be, its compensation structure should be, for L1 developers, or just like the community aspect of it all and how we all choose to contribute. I really I relate it to Dogecoin a lot because they're a distributed, uncentralized community in much the same way that Luna Classic is fighting to become. And all their marketing efforts and stuff like that, they don't have a centralized wallet and a centralized authority that can just, start putting up billboards in New York or whatever, like all their efforts come from community initiatives. So that's something that you're doing that I definitely agree with. Like if Luna Classic is to have a marketing arm, or people want to market Luna Classic beyond just their own individual project, I mean, I feel that should definitely come from community initiatives and not rely on community spend props to
Yeah,
put a billboard up on Times Square or some highway in California, or in
yeah.
Europe. So I definitely like that. I love that initiative. And
Thank
I
you.
definitely agree with your, the structure and the foundation of how you want it to work, with, how, I mean, it's time tested, it's proven, a lot of the times it seems that we're trying to reinvent multiple wheels inside Luna Classic. It's just like we're trying to do this, let's do it this way, and
Yeah,
we're trying to do this, let's do it this way, when there's time tested proven structures, like a for profit, not for profit business structure where you have payment rails built into your platform. I mean, they work. Stop relying on the community pool and what have you.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. So also, we've thought of other things, to kind of include, like for example, on Twitter, there's like a lot of bots, So if you do a poll there to kind of gauge sentiment, you can't really see, if that is, honest or not. So we also have a poll, for both the contributors. They can ask things to other contributors, and have a poll. But also on the Lang Meets community page, they can also kind of, see what people's opinions are, and to kind of, encourage people to use it. Everything is shareable, so they, can share it all onto their own Twitter, Discord groups, and stuff like that. It's all kind of shareable. Sorry, I get a phone call. Are you still
Yep,
there?
we're here.
Yeah, and then, I was speaking to um, Stretch, and he was saying, it would be really cool if you have a bot that could extract the news, from Langsphere, which is then shareable, on Twitter, Discord and Telegram. So we're also working on that. So, in giving all these tools, to really easy to manage profile, for depth, for people like yourself, we hope that it encourages enough for people wanting to use it.
No, I definitely hope the same. I mean, without question. And I mean, the battle you'll face with adoption from the community is exactly what your platform hopes to solve. You know, Being
Yeah,
able to be seen by a large enough audience to where your platform picks up steam and does gain adoption. I would,
Yeah,
but I mean, from what you're doing with the NFTs and how they'll be interacting and interoperating with your platform, and then also, just from the reactions and your efforts on Twitter, and your connections on more the Telegram side of the community, I definitely have good hopes for your platform. And
thank
if you can
you.
structure it
Yeah,
in a,
I would.
go on.
Yeah,
No, go
sorry.
on.
Now, I would love to speak about, like the Long Legendaries and NFTs. So we had a collection, the Long Guardians, that's what it all started with. And they got sold out quickly in, like 4 days. And then, I kind of asked a quote, to developers. Like I had this vision and I thought, well, maybe it's like 5 or 6K, right? And then, I started to speak with devs and I asked them for quotes, and it turned out it was a lot more than that, double, more than double. And you know that because, you had people quoting me as well. So then I kind of thought, okay, what am I going to do now? And I had the Long Samaritans, which was completely for donation. I wanted to donate it to L1, and just like basically go, this is the Google link, this is your collection. But, they said it was better if I would launch it and send it to the community pool, right? So I've got the collection, Long Samaritans, which is 60% community pool, and then 30% is long marketing education, so that's like the video we did with the depths, for example, content creation, and 10% is taking rewards because they need, some type of utility, right? But in order to raise funding for phase two, which is the marketplace and long meets, I need funding. You know what I'm saying? So that is why it's really important that people mint it. Because if people don't mint the long legendaries, then, I have no way to fund, the remainder.
Did we lose her again? It seems like we lost her again. That's all right. But yeah, like she's talking about, I guess I'll touch on first. I mean, there definitely is a disconnect from the more technically experienced and the less technically experienced individuals in the community, that just have, um, you know, little to no experience of what development costs, either it being an application, web development, back end, uh, L1, blockchain development. I mean, in that order, it gets more and more expensive pretty much. Especially contract developers. I mean, even web developers are very costly depending on their geographic location and just exactly what it is you're asking them to do. Um, and that, Natty's aspirations and her vision are definitely, it's a multi-layered approach. So I'm not surprised by that. The need for more funding to make that come to reality. Um, and if you guys like NFTs, if you don't like NFTs, that's okay too. They're not for everyone. Then Natty is currently up with a few collections on Miata.io. Uh, I've personally have contributed to her NFT lines. I like to get one here and there as they come up for sale and minting on Miata. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, she requested. Let me bring Natty back up on stage. Twitter always has issue with their spaces. They have big aspirations too. I'm hoping they can make them happen more flawlessly. Um, you should be able to come back, Natty, if you're there.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
So up to where did you hear? Sorry.
You were just now going into the need for further funding and the Lunk Legendary NFT
Yeah,
line.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Lung legendaries offer a lot of utility. It's like 188,000 Lung, which is not a lot, but it gives you lifetime access to the premium features. So if you were not, a Lung legendary holder or a Lung Guardian holder, they have been sold out. You would have to pay between 50,000 and 100,000 Lung, to kind of become a member and have access. So it's a good investment. And then we also have a collaboration with Bedrock Stars, Terry Labs, meaning that, your NFT is playable in their game, their multi-chain game in which you can earn and burn Lung. So I think it's really offering value for money. And without further funding, through the NFTs, it will not become a reality because, like I said, you know how much it costs to develop. I was thinking maybe 6,000, dollars, but it was more than double. So I really need the help of the community, and I need them to participate. So I believe this can bring Lung to a new level and yeah, move us forward. But I can't do it alone.
Yeah, and that's not something the crypto sphere is not used to. Many projects definitely do launch NFT lines to try and raise funding for their vision. I mean, I have nothing against that personally, and it's something that I'd like to see more of through the community. Like granted, we do definitely lack that active user base right now that interacts with the different layer twos or different applications built on the blockchain at this point in time. But hopefully, we see that to begin to develop and progress further down its path of natural evolution as we build out the layer two further and educate some of the community members on how to interact on chain securely and safely. Um,
Yeah.
so no, yeah, no, I think that's great. Were you able to achieve your financing target at this point in time?
Well, like I explained, when I first kind of launched the Long Guardians, I was thinking, probably it would be about $6,000 or something like that. And, you introduced somebody who gave me a quote, and, it's more than double, So it was a lot of a bigger investment. So that's why I launched the Long Legendaries to help fund it. So for the first phase, yeah, we're covered, and that's no problem. But I would like to launch the second phase as well. So that is why, I'm working my ass off, and launching NFTs on Binance or, whatever, just to get the funding because I don't really want to rely on outside investors. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of
I would
course,
like for it to be funded, by me through the community if possible.
of
Because,
course,
I'm not looking at this as a money maker or a cash grabber or anything like that. Ultimately I would like to have some type of reward in sense like a wage or something like that because I have been prioritizing Lunar Classic above my own business, above everything, so if I could get like a wage out of the platform and other people that contribute, that would be great. But it's definitely not intended, to be a moneymaker. I am foremost a Lung investor and I want Lung to kind of thrive as a whole for everyone.
yeah, and I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We've definitely seen some more like I don't know, maybe communist or less capitalistic mentalities coming out of certain sects of the community. But I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with hoping to eventually, maybe someday, maybe, gain some type of kickback or financial compensation individually for the efforts and the work you put in on chain, especially when you're building your own L2. I mean, that's the entire point. At the end of the day, you regardless of how much you love the tech, you're in it for some type of financial gain or progression along your own financial security, and some form of income, either from price appreciation of the base token or I mean coin.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I hope that your platform uh is capable of achieving that for you. I mean, that's why we're all here at the end of the day. Um, and
Yeah.
and like I have nothing bad to say against it, because unlike we've seen some from some others, you're not requesting those community pool funds to build out a layer two,
No,
so
definitely not. But I also think, like for example, you guys, terror rebels and stuff like that, they were like, uh, without any reward for a long time, And for example, in the NFT chat, I have a guy that asked me, if he could kind of help, and I pay him, I reward him, because there's a little budget from that, from the NFTs, which I sell. So I would like to see it like that. I would like to see people actually rewarded. I don't want anybody to work like that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
no, I completely agree. I don't think anyone in their truest heart really expects slave labor out of anybody else, though it may at times appear like it. You know, I mean, that's just the way the world works. I mean, we've built systems to where you rely upon financial compensation for your time. Your time is worth money, so you get money for it, regardless of if it's fiat currency or crypto coins, because that's the space we're involved in the future we believe the world is trending towards. And we lost Natty again as a speaker. Come on, Twitter, figure it out. Send rockets into space, but you can't figure out basic online call services. So yeah, no, I love it. I love that you're not aiming at the community pool. I love that you have a multitude of different initiatives to gain the funding you've found out to be needed for the platform. Um, yeah, and that's what free market capitalism is about. You have an idea, if you see a path forward and you build that path forward to make it come to reality, and you execute that path, and you achieve the initiatives you've set out for, then you deserve that financial compensation, either like with your platform, such as you know somewhat for profit model, with the paid service for the different accounts for the individuals and what have you. Um, and honestly, I don't know if you're listening, Natty, or maybe you'll listen later. I don't know to what extent we've lost you. Let me invite you as a speaker again. I mean, eventually, you could even have some type of regulated, of course. What's the term? Marketing or ad banners on your website to help further fund your platform. Because once it's built, that's not the end of it. You have the domain name with what you're planning to do with your platform. You're going to have a database that's connected to it to house all the different information for the different projects, the different accounts, the messaging services. I mean, you're talking about like 4 or 5 different applications built into one. And all of those cost money to run. Either the servers you're using to run your messaging service, the database you're using to keep track of all the information for the different projects and the different accounts, the domain name. I mean, the time of people to debug your platform. Just everything. I mean, it all does cost money, and to keep those things running into perpetuity cost continued funding. And I think people forget that a lot. Websites. Not only are they not cheap to build, but if your project gains any traction at all, if your website sees any traffic at all, that increases the price. As the traffic scales upwards, so does the cost of running the website, because you get charged per, what's it called? You get charged per ping. So every time someone visits your websites, and the more data your website has to pull, the more everything, like how many pages are they opening, how much information and everything. I mean, all of that costs money each time. So nothing wrong with that. And if you're able to achieve your operating costs on a regular basis, and then you're also able to pay yourself a little bit, I think that's awesome, and I think that's healthy for the chain. And it's just speaking towards how we are actively we're growing that active user base that doesn't just want to hold bags on an exchange and hope for a price pump, but actually want to utilize their coins and interact with the ecosystem, because that's what this is all truly about. This isn't about a price pump. It's about building a sovereign ecosystem, essentially a digital state that we have achieved the rights of interacting with by being holders and by being individuals staked on the core protocol. She is still not able to speak, so honestly, I'll do my best. I'm rather familiarized with the project, so if anyone has any questions, I'll do my absolute best to answer them. Though if I don't think I can answer them, I'm just not going to. Um, if not, I'm not sure how to continue this with our main guest gone, and I know most of you probably don't want to listen to me sit up here and monologue um, about philosophy. Anyone? Anyone have any questions? Oh, Natty's back. Add her as speaker. All right, Natty, you should be good to go. Hey. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, then feel free to ask. If not, Natty, if you have anything more to say on the project, then.
Well, the only thing that I would like to say is I see Longsphere as a foundation. Once you have a user base, a lot of other things, can come from that. And I am open to anybody that has any, epic ideas, to kind of contribute to the growth of Longsphere.
No, that's awesome, and yeah, everyone should be open from their user base's input, especially when your project entirely depends on you know a very finite set of potential users. If something gains enough traction, then maybe think about implementing whatever it is they're asking for, or adapting whatever it is, and that just helps you, because there's different perceptions, from like, I'm building this is my vision, then, well, I'm the
Yeah.
user, I'm the one that's actually using your platform, and all of us think this would be better, so no, that's great. Where are you at on the road to development?
Well, like I said, like the first phase, so that means the directory, in which you can search for contributors A to Z, or you can search for a category. So you can search, for example, for validators, and then you will get a list, and click on their profile, or you can search for NFT projects, dEPs. That is going to be finished at the end of this month. And then we're going to
Oh,
do some testing. Yeah.
okay. No, awesome. End of this month,
Hmm.
phase one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everyone keep an eye out for that. I thought I had shared one of her tweets in the bird's nest. Let me go and grab you guys one so you can navigate properly to the platform once they're up and ready, and so you can keep an eye on just what they're working on and where they're at in their developmental process. Um, Awesome. No, I did. I wasn't aware that it was
Yeah.
so soon. No, that's great.
The roadmap
Uh,
was June, and we're going to deliver in June.
awesome.
That's how I like it.
Awesome. No, yeah. I mean, roadmaps are definitely hard to keep when it comes to development. You definitely see some outrage from people that are like, "Well, you said June, but now it's July or August," and I'm just like, I mean, that's how
Yeah, I
development
know.
happens. You
But
you
but
you
I
come you.
I have to say, Glenn, I'm a woman of my word. So if I say June, even if I have to get 3 developers on it, I'll have it finished by June.
There you go. And there's nothing wrong with that either. That's awesome. So I guess another question would be, how do you plan on implementing like the payment features? Is that going to be like on chain directly to where each interaction is a message send um, on the blockchain, or do you plan on having like a custodial wallet system so users aren't hindered by on-chain transaction fees and whatnot? Did we lose her again? It sounds like we lost her again. Come on, Twitter. We're trying to do stuff. Got a lot of big stuff happening over here, and you're ruining it. So I expect her to get. Oh, there she's back. All right, Natty, you're muted. If you want to, did you hear my question? Hello. Of course, of course. So my next question was, how exactly do you plan on implementing the payment feature on your platform? I asked if it was going to be strictly like Wallet Connect and blockchain layer transactions, or if you um, plan on implementing like a custodial wallet system like you see often with payments that happen on a closed platform. And I guess
Yeah.
actually to build out upon that question is for like people that sell services. Okay, like
Hmm.
say I'm a developer and I'm looking to help out an L2. I find one. Is there there's always the concern of either completion of a product or completion of payment from the other side.
Well,
So
that is
do
what I'm
you
saying. Yeah.
you plan on having
So,
some type of escrow account that
yeah,
has to be
exactly.
validated? Okay.
Exactly. So basically, we hold the funds until the work is delivered. But not only that, anybody that offers services, everybody has to place a review. So, for example, you are a video editor, and you have offered your services there. The moment that somebody wants to take your services, you will not get paid until the job is done. So it will go into in between, like with us, it will be held. And then afterwards, the person who hired your services is obligated to leave a review, whether that is in stars or, so people can actually sense, is this a good freelancer or is he really crap, Because if he's really crap, I don't want to hire him. So that
Yeah.
is one. But also, with regards to, for example, the memberships, I don't know if you're familiar, we've got the Luna Classic shop and we halted that because, first of all, we were using Printify, which was not very good because they got like 5 stars, these printers, and we used them. And then it turned out it was really bad. So we halted that. But also now payments, they kind of promote themselves as a payment processor for Lunk. It's crap as well. So we're going to get our own Lunk. We have to develop that, our own Lunk payment processor, which will then be linked to the site so that people can buy in Lunk. So they can
Awesome.
buy a membership in Lunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so you said you will have some type of like escrow system to where the
Yes,
money the
correct.
money is held in, a third party, secure wallet or contract. So I guess that breeds two more questions. Um, One, is that going to be like a manual escrow account, or is that going to be smart contract, functions? And then how is completion of services or a product decided? Is that going to be like I'm the one offering the service and I say I'm done, and then the person I gave my services or product to, they're like, okay, it's also done, and then you can release the funds, or how is that going to work? We lost her again. I keep having to add her as speaker, and it's every time I have a question. Let me try again, Natty. Yep, you're a speaker again. No, you're fine. You're fine. If anything, my questions will be very well articulated. Um, so I guess what you said there about the escrow account just breeds two more questions. One, is that going to be like an off-chain mechanism or like a smart contract mechanism? And then two, how is it decided that a product or service is completed? Is there like a box I click that says check, it's completed from my side as the worker? And then is there also a box that the user or the employer checks, and that's what allows funds to be released to the other party?
Yeah. So, with regards to the first question, I always am very transparent about that. I don't have the most in-depth knowledge. I kind of, like I said, got gripped by Long in May, and I didn't even know what staking was. I didn't even know how to transfer, crypto from a wallet to the other. So what I do, I kind of ask my developer, like I just tell him, this is what I want, right? And he's not here now, so he can't answer the question. And he kind of develops what I want. So with regards to the second question, yes, there has to be some type of, okay given to be able to release those funds. And at the moment, our focus has been more on the first phase because that is something that we would like to have finished now. And the second phase, is not scheduled until Q3. So, we've kind of been investigating other platforms like Fiverr and also, other crypto platforms. So we're going to seek, the best solution, how we can implement that.
Yeah, and that's that. There's nothing wrong with that on both accounts of what you said. It is definitely not an uncommon thing for someone to come up with the idea and the aspirations, and then someone else makes it a reality. That's definitely how most of the industry works. The companies coming out with applications more times than not are definitely not the ones building them. They hire someone else to do that, and they couldn't tell you how it functioned. They just know it works. And then like not having it really hammered out quite yet on just how exactly those functions will operate. I mean, that's fine too. I probably wouldn't have it figured out, and if I did, it would probably change 10 more times until release. Um, do you plan on having, if you do have on chain or even off chain code with these functions, do you plan on having that be open source to the public so they can, for lack of a better term, I guess, kind of peer audit your platform for security reasons? We lost her again every time. Come on, Twitter. I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. I guess I was asking if do you plan on having either your off-chain code, nothing that would present a security risk, of course, as well as any on-chain code such as smart contracts? Do you plan on having that be open source and public to the community
Oh,
so
yeah.
they? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's
Well,
great. That's
no, are you talking about, like, for example, like the online payment process or things like that? Or what are you
um.
talking about?
I mean, there's
What the
definitely
code of what exactly?
I guess I guess honestly, releasing all the code to the public could be in some ways definitely a security concern because you can someone would probably find some type of way to game the system.
Oh,
So,
no.
but
Like, for example,
but
if we're gonna pay for like a payment processor, and we're gonna have somebody develop it, and somebody wants to do something with e-commerce, are we gonna release that even though we paid for it? 100%, absolutely. We're gonna release that so that they can use that. Are we gonna release like the whole platform code? No, we're not gonna
no,
release that.
of course,
You know,
because that.
and yeah, and also, something, which people have said, which I wanted to raise because I forgot about that. So people either have to pay a membership. Am I still there?
Yes, you're here.
Yeah. Or they have to get an NFT. So you don't get the scammers because scammers will not go onto the platform for which they have to pay. So you're
I
not going to have
mean, yeah.
scammers on Longsphere. because nobody wants to buy an NFT to access it. Okay, maybe, you could have people, well, I say that, but you won't have like your regular scammers. Maybe you can
No,
have
yeah.
somebody, you know what I'm saying? So it is raising the bar a bit, like you actually have to pay for your membership. And if they don't conduct themselves, in the way, which the platform requires. So there will be, like accept these terms and conditions. They will be chucked out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. No, and I agree with what you said. I don't think anyone should be obligated to release, their complete code base because that's intellectual property as well as it presents, security concerns with someone gaining access to the back end of your application. But the parts that, you know, the public may or may not should have access to, such as parts of payment rails, as well as smart contracts. Simply that being open to the public is definitely something I really like, and I'm a huge proponent of. Especially with in the past, you've seen such huge outcries for like audit this, audit that, and I'm just like, you guys understand that a basic smart contract audit starts at like $50,000,
Yeah.
right? I
So
mean,
that,
I mean they're not
yeah. But that is
so.
exactly. But can I just say something? Because, for example, like audits, they are so ridiculously expensive. But that is actually something that I was hoping we could fund with Langsfear. If you've got like 5 projects and they all need an audit, for Lang to be able to kind of, gain credibility, then I hope, that with monetizing Langsfear and, having like featured events, featured contributors, banners, but also having people pay for the premium features, that we can actually fund things like that. That is my vision.
Well, I mean, that's even better, at the end. I'm personally, I mean, I know projects, I've been involved with projects that were audited and were rugged. So audits really don't hold the weight for me as an individual that it does, or it seemingly does with a lot of people. Because, I mean, they're just reading through your code and looking for something that jumps out and screams to them, well, this isn't a function that this smart contract should have. And it's not a perfect system, and I think due to Luna Classics, like fledgling state, still trying to work its way out of its like primordial goo, I think like a peer-to-peer review understanding, much along the lines of what academia does, is definitely something that is more in line with the decentralized and distributed nature of the community, and what we hope the blockchain will be one day.
Yeah,
It's just like if you are releasing smart contracts and these 10 other people are releasing smart contracts, and we build the ethos and the culture inside of the community that we rely on our L2 developers to take a peek and look at the smart contracts from others and being like, I see nothing wrong here. And
yeah,
then, 10 out of 10 say that, and therefore the contract has a little bit more acceptance within the community, like a peer-to-peer review. That's something I feel strongly about, because asking you or me or any of these other people that are currently building on chain, they're not getting the multi-million-dollar funding that you might find with a big project on Ethereum or a
yeah.
big project you find on Binance Smart Chain. I mean, we don't have that type of
Plan,
notoriety. These
plan.
Yes, ma'am.
I am like, because I was a bit nervous for this, I went into the forest to calm my nerves, but I've only got like 3% battery, right? So
No,
I
you're
just
fine. Well, you're
So I
fine.
just want to say a last thing, right? An idea that I had. If the platform is successful, I think I would like to make the business structure a foundation, meaning that you cannot make any profit and you have to invest everything back, into lungs. So that is the idea that I have, for like the type of business structure. But also I thought if it is successful and people use it, I could franchise it, like the concept. You can have Shipsphere, Peppersphere, all these different, do you know what I mean? And you could sell it and just say like, here you go. and you could have something ready because it takes months to develop. It takes a lot of money to develop. So that was another thought I had, and I'll bring it back to Lunk.
Yeah, and I mean that's great. I mean, like it seems like you not only have the multiple different phases of the website thought out, but also once the platform is complete, and branching out and expanding upon your business model to where you say you want to go foundation, which is awesome, and then you know almost turning it into like almost a SaaS arm. Like you have Lunksphere, the platform, but Lunksphere also sells their product to other chains or individuals
Yeah,
that would
exactly.
like to spin up their own thing. I mean, I think that's great, and I mean they are quite lofty goals, and I hope you achieve them definitely.
Yeah, I'll definitely, do everything in my ability to achieve them.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely have hit the ground running. I love seeing the progression. I love seeing that you're definitely making progress and keeping the community updated. Um, I guess since you said you have 3% battery left, we'll kind of wind it down. A, do you have a specific question, Kay, that you can add?
I don't have a specific question, but I just wanted to let her know that you can always add announcements into the Layer 2 announcements section in our Discord. Mommy? It's always welcome.
Definitely, definitely. Any project updates you may have either now or in the future, then you're definitely more than welcome to go ahead and drop them in the Layer 2 announcement channel on the Terrarium server. Um, and if anyone who is looking for a place to kind of get a peek at some of the projects that are building, then that channel is, it's somewhat used. So other than that, Natty, you have any closing words or thoughts before we cut it off?
Looks like she disconnected
Okay,
again.
well she disconnected again. That's fine. Her phone might have died. Um, so
Mommy.
thank you everyone for joining us, Natty. If you go back and listen to this, or if you're still here with us, I really appreciate you giving us the time out of your day to come and speak with us about just exactly what Lunksphere is and what it's building and what its aspirations are. I definitely love covering these L2s and having these guests up here speaking about what they're working on, either being at Redline or we had Base Token a few weeks back, and now Natty. This is definitely something I find a lot of joy in, not only getting to discuss their projects and ideas with them, but also giving each of you a way to find out a little bit more about just what's going on, having what I hope is an educated discussion about it all, and uh, just covering it to the extent that I think we all think feel these projects deserve. So with that, I guess we're going to head. We're going ahead to. We're going to close it out because we lost our speaker again, and her phone was dying, which is fair. Um, Interesting. She went out in the woods. I mean, that's cool. That seems like the proper place to do a Twitter space. Just hanging out in the woods. Nothing wrong with that. So, once again, thank you everyone for joining us for episode 8 of Coffee Corner. Give us a like, give us a share. It definitely helps the platform. Follow us on YouTube. Come join the Discord server. Get involved with the community. Um, and chat with everyone else and keep track of what's going on. Until next time, oh, I guess I'll mention that at the end here too. We're definitely switching, as I'm sure you've noticed, from like a weekly show to a by guest show about what's going on, and it's easier for us. We don't feel so pressured to constantly come up with content because we're not content creators. We're just people, and it gives more enjoyable, more like just better organized and structured shows for all of our listeners instead of grasping for words the entire time. So I hope that works for everyone that joins us regularly. I hope it's something that the community enjoys and finds value in. But yeah, Raider, I see you're in the audience, and I'll just give you a shout out too if you want to connect with me on Discord and maybe set something up and we can talk about what TR is doing and their developments and where they're heading. Then don't hesitate to. I'm sure that's something a lot of people would enjoy listening to as well. And you can expect much the same of what you have listened to here. Just an organized, laid back discussion about what's going on. But once again, everyone, thank you for joining us for episode 8 of Coffee Corner. I hope to see you all again next time. Until then, take it easy.
Have a good Saturday.